I welcome you to my channel. Subscribe and listen to my new stories every day. It's early morning, and the chill still lingers in the air as I stand in the kitchen, steaming coffee in hand. Gloria's out jogging again, like she has been every day for the past 2 months. I used to admire her newfound dedication to fitness, but something about it feels off. Her sudden obsession with early morning runs is out of character, and it nags at me, like a pebble stuck in my shoe. Today, I've decided to surprise her. She's mentioned a few times how much she loves the aroma of fresh coffee, and I figure showing up with a cup in hand would earn me some points. Besides, it's a chance to ease the unease I've been feeling. I grab my jacket, the coffee thermos, and head out to find her usual route. As I drive toward the park, I spot her bright pink jacket up ahead, just where I expected. She's jogging down the path, her ponytail swaying rhythmically. But then, as she approaches the park's exit, I notice something strange. She doesn't turn around to complete the usual loop. Instead, she continues down a side street, glancing around as if checking for onlookers. I slow down and park the car, deciding to follow on foot. My instincts are screaming at me, but I need to know if I'm just being paranoid. Staying far enough behind, I watch her jog a few blocks until she stops near a modest house at the end of a quiet street. That's when I see him, a man in his mid-30s, tall and fit, waiting in the driveway. He smiles as she approaches, and they exchange a quick hug before sharing a few words I'm too far away to catch. My hand tightens around the coffee thermos. Who is this guy? Gloria and this stranger chat like old friends, laughing easily. Then, she walks with him down the driveway toward the house. My pulse quickens as I watch her disappear inside. I circle around to the back of the house, scanning for a better vantage point. There's a tall tree near the rear fence that might give me a view through the second-floor window. I hesitate for a moment, knowing how crazy this is, climbing a tree to spy on my own wife. But my gut is churning, and I need to know the truth, even if it's painful. I start to climb, my fingers gripping the rough bark as I pull myself up, trying to stay quiet. When I reach a sturdy branch near the top, I peer into the window. The curtains are half drawn, but I can see enough. Inside, Gloria is standing close to the man, her hand resting on his chest. He leans in, and she doesn't back away. Instead, she lets out a soft laugh and starts unzipping her jacket, revealing a tank top beneath. He places his hands on her waist, his fingers sliding beneath the fabric. My stomach drops. It feels like the ground has been ripped from under me, leaving me dangling helplessly. I never thought I'd see Gloria like this, cheating, betraying me right before my eyes. As I continue to watch, she pulls him closer, and they stumble toward a couch, limbs entwining. I almost lose my grip on the branch, my vision blurred by a haze of fury and disbelief. This can't be real. But it is. It's happening right in front of me. My wife is unfaithful. The woman I trusted, the woman I thought I knew. Anger surges through me, and I carefully descend from the tree, my mind racing. I could burst into that house right now, confront them both, let my rage boil over. But then what? I'd be the fool, the husband who caught his wife cheating and lost his cool. No, I need to think this through. I need to hurt her the way she's hurt me, make her feel the sting of betrayal. I return to my car, sitting behind the wheel as I try to piece together a plan. It's not enough to just catch them in the act. I need to make sure Gloria pays for what she's done. She needs to know there are consequences for her lies. Over the next few days, I begin laying the groundwork. I start by going through our finances, taking stock of the assets we share, and slowly moving the money from our joint accounts to my personal one. I document everything I can, text messages, emails, anything that could show her infidelity in case I need it for the divorce proceedings. There's no way she's going to walk away from this unscathed. Then, I change the locks on the house and pack up her belongings, leaving them in boxes at the back of the garage. The sight of her things, clothes, shoes, framed photos from happier times, fills me with a bitter satisfaction. I don't feel guilty. She made her choice when she walked into that man's driveway. Finally, I decide on the moment to confront her. It has to be public, somewhere she won't be able to deny what she's done. I choose a cafe where we used to meet for breakfast. I text her to meet me there, saying I have a surprise. When she arrives, I'm already seated at a table, a small envelope sitting in front of me. She smiles as she approaches, probably thinking I've planned some romantic gesture. It's almost laughable. I slide the envelope across the table as she sits down. "What's this?" she asks, her brow furrowing. "Open it," I say, my voice cold. Inside is a collection of photos, shots I took from the tree, clear evidence of her morning rendezvous. Her face pales as she sifts through them, her mouth opening and closing like a fish out of water. "How could you?" she begins, but I cut her off. "How could I? How could you, Gloria? I caught you. I know everything." I watch as the realization dawns on her face, and I relish the fear in her eyes. "You're out of the house. I've already filed for divorce. Don't come back." She tries to stammer out an explanation, but I've heard enough. I stand up, leaving her there, stunned and alone. As I walk away, I feel a weight lift off my shoulders. This isn't the end, it's just the beginning. She'll learn what happens when you betray the wrong person. And I intend to make sure she never forgets. The days that follow feel like a blur, a whirlwind of paperwork, phone calls, and legal jargon. Gloria's out of the house, and I've managed to sever almost every tie between us, but the rage inside me hasn't dissipated. If anything, it burns hotter, fueled by the image of her in that stranger's arms, the betrayal seared into my memory. I spend my evenings alone in the living room, a glass of whiskey in hand, scrolling through the photos I took from that tree. The evidence is damning. It's not just the images, though, it's the lies that linger behind them. Gloria wasn't just unfaithful, she was devious. Every smile, every touch, every word she spoke in those last months was tainted by deceit. It's time to take things further. I'm not satisfied with simply kicking her out and filing for divorce. She needs to feel the consequences of her actions in every part of her life. I know exactly where to start. The next morning, I call up her workplace. Gloria works at a boutique marketing firm, where she spent the last 5 years climbing the ranks. She's proud of her job, and for a long time, I was proud of her, too. I used to tell everyone how lucky I was to have such a successful, driven wife. Now, I'm about to turn her career into a living nightmare. I'm dialing her boss's direct line when I feel a flash of hesitation. Should I really do this? Is it worth it? But then I remember the look on her face when she thought she'd gotten away with it, the arrogance, the audacity. My jaw tightens as I push the hesitation aside and hit the call button. "Marketing and strategy, this is Joyce speaking," her boss's voice chirps through the receiver. "Joyce, it's Peter Roberts," I say, keeping my tone steady and polite. "I'm Gloria's husband. Well, soon-to-be ex-husband." There's a slight pause. "Oh. Peter, I didn't realize. She's been hiding some things from you, and I think it's only fair you know," I interrupt, my voice hardening. "You see, Gloria's been having an affair. And while that's none of your business, what might be relevant to you is how she's been using company resources for her little rendezvous." "Excuse me?" Joyce sounds taken aback. "Expense reports, client dinners, she's been a lot less professional than you might think," I say, the words pouring out more easily now. "I've got the evidence to prove it." Joyce's tone changes, becoming colder. "I'll look into this, Peter. Thank you for bringing it to my attention." I hang up, a thrill of satisfaction coursing through me. That's just the beginning. Gloria's about to find out how quickly things can spiral out of control. Later that evening, my phone buzzes with a text from Gloria. "What the hell have you done, Peter? Joyce put me on leave because of some investigation you started." I smirk, picturing her face as she typed the message, probably fuming in her car, cursing my name. I ignore her text and pour myself another drink. Let her squirm. Let her wonder what else I've set in motion. The next day, I head over to the cafe near Gloria's office. She's still on leave, but I know her well enough to predict her patterns. She'll come here eventually, looking for a familiar place to think. I'm right. Just as I'm about to leave, she walks in, looking disheveled and distracted. "Peter," she starts when she sees me, her voice a mixture of shock and anger. "You need to stop this." "Stop what, Gloria?" I reply, setting my coffee down. "I'm just making sure the truth comes out. You know, the truth you've been hiding for months." Her eyes flash with a mix of fury and desperation. "This isn't just about us. You're ruining my life." "Your life?" I scoff, leaning forward. "You ruined mine the moment you stepped into that guy's house." "I'm just returning the favor." Gloria looks around, her voice lowering to a hiss. "You're going to regret this, Peter." I'll fight back. "Then do it," I reply, my voice calm and steady. "But you should know, I'm just getting started." She glares at me, her face pale with frustration, and storms out of the cafe. I watch her go, my heart thudding with adrenaline. She thinks she can threaten me, but she doesn't know how far I'm willing to go. The next week, I dig deeper into her personal life, reaching out to a few mutual friends. I tell them about Gloria's affair in hushed tones, painting her as the villain who shattered our marriage. Some of them are shocked, others sympathetic, but one thing is clear: word spreads fast. Her social circle is starting to crumble, and I'm making sure I'm not the one they blame. At work, her so-called investigation drags on, and I know it's only a matter of time before they find something in the company's records. Even if they don't, the mere suspicion is enough to tarnish her reputation. By Friday, she calls me again, her voice trembling with rage. "You need to stop lying about me," she says. "I've already spoken to a lawyer. If you keep this up, I'll sue you for defamation." I can't help but laugh. "Go ahead, Gloria. But make sure you tell your lawyer about your little morning runs while you're at it. I've got plenty of proof." There's silence on the other end, and I can almost hear her breathing, struggling to find a response. "You're a monster," she finally whispers. "And you're a liar," I reply, hanging up before she can say another word. As I stand there, I realize the revenge has taken on a life of its own. It's no longer just about punishing Gloria, it's about taking back control, making sure that when people look at us, they see the real story. The truth may be ugly, but it's better than living in her web of lies. I'm not done yet. There are still pieces of her life left untouched, and I'm determined to dismantle every last one. The following days are consumed with planning. The satisfaction of seeing Gloria's life unravel isn't enough. She still has too much to lose. If she thought I'd settle for just a broken career and a few damaged friendships, she's dead wrong. I've set the stage, and now it's time for the next act. I decide to visit our storage unit, where we kept old memorabilia and other things we no longer needed. It's a dusty place, filled with remnants of a life we once shared, a life that now feels like a distant lie. I rummage through boxes until I find what I'm looking for, a collection of old journals Gloria kept, filled with her thoughts, plans, and secrets. She's always been meticulous about documenting everything, which, ironically, is about to be her downfall. Back home, I flip through the pages, finding snippets about our marriage, her career struggles, and, finally, mentions of someone named Greg. The entries are vague, but there's enough to suggest that he's more than just a casual acquaintance. There's an unmistakable familiarity in the way she writes about him, a casualness that borders on intimacy. Greg. So that's his name. Later that evening, I decide to pay Greg a visit. I manage to find his address online, same house where I caught Gloria that day. There's no car in the driveway when I arrive, and the lights are off. I park a few houses down and wait. I want to catch him off guard, make him feel the same panic that's been gnawing at me since I first saw them together. An hour later, headlights sweep across the street, and a sleek black car pulls into the driveway. Greg steps out, dressed in a sharp suit, briefcase in hand. Perfect. I get out of my car and walk up the driveway, catching him just as he's locking his front door. "Greg," I call out, and he turns to face me, his expression one of mild curiosity. "Do I know you?" he asks, glancing around as if expecting someone else to appear. "You know my wife," I reply, letting the words hang in the air. He raises an eyebrow, confused. "I'm sorry, who are you again?" I step closer, lowering my voice. "Peter. Gloria's husband. Or did she not tell you about me?" The recognition flashes across his face, followed by an awkward silence. He shifts on his feet, trying to maintain composure. "Look, man, I don't know what you're trying to. She didn't tell you she's married, did she?" I interrupt, a bitter laugh escaping my lips. "Did she at least mention she's been living a double life? Jogging in the mornings, sneaking around to see you?" Greg's expression hardens. "I don't know what you're implying, but I think it's best if you leave. This isn't the place to." "Oh, I'm not going anywhere," I cut him off, my tone now dripping with venom. "You see, Greg, I'm not here to fight for her. She's already gone from my life. I'm here to make sure she leaves yours, too." "What the hell is wrong with you?" he snaps, his patience wearing thin. "This is between you and Gloria. I've got nothing to do with it." "You've got everything to do with it," I fire back, taking a step closer. "She threw away our marriage for you, Greg. And I'm not just going to let you both walk away as if nothing happened." He starts to say something, but I don't give him the chance. I reach into my pocket and pull out a handful of photos, the same ones I showed Gloria at the cafe. I toss them at his feet, and they scatter across the driveway, the images glaring up at him. He stares down at the photos, his jaw tightening. "You've been following us?" he asks, his voice barely above a whisper, as if realizing the extent of my obsession. "Call it what you want," I reply, folding my arms. "But I know where she is, who she's with, and what she's been doing. I suggest you find someone else to ruin your life with." Without another word, I turn and walk back to my car, leaving him there with the evidence of his affair. He doesn't try to follow. He just stands there, stunned, as the weight of my words sinks in. The next morning, Gloria shows up at the house. I can see her pacing on the front porch through the living room window, her face pale and tense. She bangs on the door, the sound echoing through the quiet house. "Peter. Open the door," she yells, her voice thick with anger. "We need to talk." I swing the door open, leaning against the frame. "What do you want?" She pushes past me into the hallway, her eyes blazing. "You went to Greg's house. You've crossed the line, Peter. This is harassment." I shrug. "Harassment? I'd call it justice. Besides, I only did what you forced me to do. Maybe you should have thought twice before cheating." "Justice?" she scoffs, incredulous. "You're destroying my life. I'm suspended from work, our friends won't even talk to me, and now Greg. Now Greg knows exactly what kind of woman he's been sleeping with," I interrupt, my voice steady. "Did you really think you could keep this charade going forever?" She glares at me, her hands trembling. "I made a mistake, Peter. We could have worked this out. But you're acting like a psychopath." "Worked it out?" I laugh bitterly. "We passed the point of working it out when you stepped into his house. This isn't about fixing anything anymore. It's about consequences." Her anger crumbles into despair, her shoulders slumping as she struggles to find the right words. I'm begging you, Peter. Please, just stop. I'll leave, okay? I'll disappear from your life. Just let me salvage what's left. The desperation in her voice almost stirs something inside me, almost. But then I remember the betrayal, the lies, and the months she spent with another man while pretending to be my loving wife. No, Gloria, I say, shaking my head. You don't get to choose when this ends. You took everything from me, so now I'm taking everything from you. You can leave whenever you want, but I'm not done. She stares at me, tears brimming in her eyes. For a moment, it seems like she might plead again, but then she simply turns and walks out the door. As I watch her drive away, I feel a cold satisfaction settle over me. She thinks this is the end of the nightmare, but it's far from over. The next phase of my plan is already in motion. It's time to strike where it will hurt her the most. The cold satisfaction of dismantling Gloria's life isn't enough to quell the rage boiling inside me. Her tears and pleas only fueled my determination to take everything from her. There's still one last card to play, and I'm going to make sure it hits harder than anything that came before. It's time to finish what I started, no more warnings, no more games. I've spent weeks gathering information on Greg, piecing together his life, his habits, and, most importantly, his vulnerabilities. It didn't take long to find the chink in his armor. As it turns out, he's not just a marketing guy, he's been running a shady side business involving insider trading. He thinks he's smart enough to keep it under wraps, but he made the mistake of using a shell company tied to his home address. All it took was a few well-placed phone calls and some fabricated documents to set the stage. Tonight, I'm going to make sure Gloria and Greg both feel the crushing weight of betrayal, and I'm going to do it in the most insidious way possible. The evening is dark, and the streets are empty as I pull up a few houses down from Greg's place. I'm dressed in black from head to toe, gloves on, ski mask pulled over my face. I slip a crowbar into my jacket pocket and walk toward the house, staying in the shadows. I've already disabled his security cameras, simple enough, given my background in tech support. I make my way to the back door and pry it open quietly. The inside is dark, but I know the layout well enough from my previous visits. I move swiftly through the living room and head up the stairs toward the bedroom. As I reach the top, I hear muffled voices, Gloria's voice, unmistakable, mixed with Greg's. My chest tightens with a sick thrill. I push the bedroom door open just enough to see them through the gap. They're lying on the bed, entangled in each other, whispering in the dark. I tighten my grip on the crowbar, the metal cold and reassuring in my hand. I burst into the room, flicking on the light, and Gloria screams as she sees me standing there, masked and menacing. Greg scrambles off the bed, his eyes wide with panic. "Who the hell are you?" he shouts, grabbing for the lamp on the nightstand like a weapon. I slam the crowbar down onto the lamp, shattering it into pieces. "Shut up," I growl, my voice low and distorted beneath the mask. "I'm here to collect a debt." Gloria's face goes pale as she recognizes my voice. "Peter," she whispers, trembling. "What are you doing?" I rip the mask off and glare at her. "You really thought I'd let you and your lover just walk away after everything you did?" I hiss. "You're about to find out just how wrong you were." Greg steps forward, trying to put himself between us. "Listen, man, whatever this is, we can sort it out. You don't have to." I swing the crowbar at his head, and he barely manages to duck out of the way, stumbling backward. He's faster than I expected, but not smart. He lunges for me, and I drive the crowbar into his gut, knocking the wind out of him. He collapses to the floor, gasping for breath. "Stop it, Peter. Please." Gloria cries, rushing toward Greg, but I grab her by the arm and shove her against the wall. "You want me to stop? After everything you've done? You think you get to beg for mercy now?" I snarl, tightening my grip on the crowbar. Her eyes fill with tears, and she looks at me with a desperation I haven't seen before. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Peter. Please, just let us go, and we'll disappear. You'll never see us again, I swear. I laugh bitterly. Disappear? I think that's exactly what you're about to do, Gloria. But not before you know the truth. Greg struggles to his feet, clutching his stomach. What, truth? He wheezes. I reach into my pocket and toss a thick envelope onto the bed. Gloria glances at it, then looks back at me, confused. What is that? She asks, her voice trembling. It's the reason your precious Greg is about to lose everything, I say with a smirk. I've exposed his little side business, his insider trading operation. Those documents will link it all back to you, Gloria. I've made sure it looks like you were his partner in crime. The authorities will have no trouble believing it when they see the forged signatures and fabricated emails. Greg's face twists with horror as he stares at me, then at Gloria. You set us up, he gasps, his voice breaking. Gloria's knees buckle as she realizes the gravity of my words. Peter, no, you can't, they'll arrest me. I didn't do anything, she cries, reaching for me. I jerk away from her touch, disgusted. You should have thought of that before you decided to cheat, I say coldly. By the time they sort out the truth, if they ever do, you'll have lost everything, your job, your reputation, your freedom. And Greg here? He'll be rotting away in a cell while you're left to pick up the pieces. Greg lunges at me again, but this time, I'm ready. I sidestep him and swing the crowbar, striking his knee with a sickening crunch. He collapses, screaming in agony. The sound echoes through the room, and I stand over him, watching as he writhes on the floor. You bastard, he groans, clutching his shattered knee. I turn to Gloria, who is sobbing, her back pressed against the wall. You two were made for each other, I say, my voice dripping with contempt. But now, all you have is each other's misery. Enjoy it. With that, I drop the crowbar and walk out of the bedroom, leaving them behind in their shattered world. I hear Gloria calling my name, begging me to stop, but I don't look back. I head downstairs, out the door, and into the night, the cool air biting at my skin. As I drive away, the sirens in the distance grow louder. I know it's only a matter of time before they arrive, before the authorities start picking up the pieces of the chaos I've left behind. But I'm not afraid. I've already planned my exit, and I'll be long gone before anyone can trace anything back to me. In the rearview mirror, I see the flashing blue light speeding down the street toward Greg's house. It's over. Gloria and Greg are finished, and I've taken everything from them just as they took everything from me. They'll never see me again, and I'll never see them. Our lives are severed, forever scarred by betrayal and the violent vengeance that followed. And as I disappear into the night, I feel nothing but a cold, empty satisfaction.